I didn't see you there, sorry. I was just reading this book. Has anyone heard of this book? I don't think really anyone's heard of this except for like if you're a mom. I don't know. But I am 14 years old and this book is, well, it's like done wonders for me. I have no idea why. Best book I've ever read in my whole life. Highly recommend. And I'm gonna explain to you why right now. So let's dive in. Quick disclaimer, this book does have thoughts of incest, like a really torture, punishment, religious stuff in it. So just know that before you read it and before you listen to the rest of this video, because it's some sensitive topics for some people. So just there's a warning. It really isn't that bad. I'm 14, I read it. But if you are sensitive to that sort of stuff, I would click off the video now. Thank you. The summary of this is this. This is complete spoilers, so click off now if you plan to read it, which I would click off now if I were you. Please read it. But if you don't want to read it, I will tell you. The basic premise is about 4 kids and a mom and a dad. So the dad is the only one working in the family. The mom is a housewife. She takes care of the kids. Life is pretty good. And the dad one time leaves and doesn't come back. They actually had planned like a surprise party for him. It was like his birthday or so, I don't really remember. But they planned a surprise party and he never came back. Instead, a police officer came back and said he got in a car accident. I guess you can see what happened then. He's dead. And remember, he's the only one working. And this mom, for some reason, refuses to get another job. And she tells the kids, just straight up, is like, we're gonna lose our house. We're gonna lose everything in our house because we have no money. But don't fear, because she has a great solution. They're gonna move in with her mom and dad, so the children's grandparents. And they never really have met them before. They just heard of them, and still barely. So apparently they're very rich, and they're going to see them and stay with them for a bit until they can get back on their feet. This is whenever it gets interesting. The middle of the night, take a train, get off the train, and then walk. Middle of the night. The cold. They get to this house, this like mansion, like it's on a hill, it's so big, and they get inside. The kids are excited, like especially Kathy, she's the main character. That they are gonna, become rich and they're gonna get like weighted on hand and foot. They're just kids, like they don't know. But they get taken up a stairwell. And everyone probably knows this part at this point, but up the stairwell, they lead to a hallway. Into the hallway, there's a door. Go inside that door, and then that door is to stay closed. What? What's happening here? Well, they're gonna stay in this room until she can get her father to put her back in the will. Yes! She never told them that. Why? Why was she out of the will in the first place? And why does she need to do this and not just get a job? Sorry. But they're meant to stay in this room. Just these 4 kids. These 4 young kids. Like 2 of them are 5 years old. They're twins. Their name are Corey and Carrie. And the main character's name is Kathy. She's like 12. And Chris is like 13, 14. I read it like a month ago. And they're going to be in this room for hopefully a few days just to get her inheritance back in. I'll tell you why she was out of the inheritance in a second. Just hold on. That's my cat. So they're in this room and the mom leaves and the grandma who like escorted them up to that room also leaves. And now they're there. What do? I don't know. Go to bed, I guess. When they wake up, the grandma comes in with the mom, and the mom is like limping. Sorry about my cat. And this grandma tells Corin, which is the mom, to take off her jacket. Or shirt. And she takes it off, and there's whip marks all the way down her back and on her legs. They whipped her for all the years of her life that she was with her husband who died in the car crash. And now I'll tell you why. Her husband was her half-uncle. They took her out of the will. No money for her whenever the grandfather dies. Nothing. But they think that these children, these innocent children that are going to be just locked in this room until she can get the inheritance back, are devil's issue. Or devil's spawn. Which basically means that what they, like the half-uncle, which also named Chris, and Corin, them having children is like devil having children. It's just basically saying these children are just as evil as the parents, and they have the same mindset. They're gonna like end up dating each other at some point. Who knows? Like, they're not as innocent as they look. So this grandma proceeds to blame the children for everything that Corin has done. I mean, she blames Corin too, but like not as much as the children. So the grandma proceeds to give them a list of rules they have to follow while they're in this room for who knows how long. And it's like you can't even look at like the same sex unless necessary. The girls sleep together, the boys sleep together in different beds. No one should be in the bathroom together. It's just like insane, like stuff like that's like, how can you not look at like a boy and a girl not look at each other? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you can't look at yourself in like a mirror and like be like, oh, my hair's pretty or something. Like, no, you can't do that. I could go on. It was really long list, but it was just like insane what these children have to do. And like, I don't even know like how I or anyone in this whole world would be able to constantly do that. Like, she makes them recite Bible verses to her every single day. All the grandma does is bring them a basket of food. And this is like the only like thing she doesn't try to interact with them except for the Bible verses. But this is only the start of what's really bad. The mom is seeing them like daily, basically. Like daily visits. She comes in, she hugs them, she tells them about what's happened, how she's trying her hardest to get herself back in the will. There's one time when she comes back and she's in a sailor outfit and she's tan. And they're like, where were you? And we've been in this attic waiting to get out. And you keep telling us that it won't be much longer. Maybe even a week. And you originally said there were days. We just have to wait even one day. And where were you? And she's like, I was out sailing. You were out sailing, huh? You were out sailing while we were in this room. You should be down there trying to like fight for us to get. You should tell him about us. Like, she's not telling the grandfather that she has children because he would definitely not let her back in the will then, because they're devil's issue. So she's trying to gain her father's trust back before she introduces the children. And everyone's scared of the grandma. But I'm just going to skip some because I don't really want to go through all of this. But the mom's visits start to get way more separated. And she when she comes back, she's like, talks about what party she went to. Or something. Like, she's saying that, like, she has to do this or else the grandfather will be like, what are you doing here if you're just gonna be here? I guess that's a good reasoning. Oh yeah, definitely. I think you should care more about your children. Okay. But Corin, there's this one time when at Christmas when she lets them actually out of that room, like on one of her like really separated visits, because I feel like she's trying to like, you know, make up for not attending to them without really like having to attend to them anyways. She lets them go inside this chest of drawers and look out through it to see the Christmas party happening below. She sees her mom hanging out with this guy, which you later find out the name is Bartholomew Winslow. I still can't speak. I said that wrong. You know what I mean. Bart Winslow. And she keeps leaving the room with him and then coming back, leaving and coming back. And after this is when things really go bad. The mom doesn't come back for a long time. And like a summer, like a whole summer, she does not come back. And they're wondering where she is, what's happening. And the only person paying them visits is, of course, the grandmother, who catches them doing something. Kathy realizes as time goes on, it's been maybe about a year and a half. Yes, a year and a half, or maybe even 2 years, that they've been locked in this stupid attic. And they, you know, they're maturing, they're growing up. Boys specifically are growing up, and they want to, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but they want girls. They want to date girls. They want to kiss girls. And the only girl that he has really access to is Kathy. And their brother and sister. So there's one time when Kathy realizes she hasn't really even seen herself since like a long time. So she goes in the closet to look at herself in a mirror. And she sees Chris staring at her. And she tells him to go away, but he won't. And before she reaches to grab the dress she was wearing to put it back on, before she gets it on all the way, guess who walks in? You said it, didn't you? Yep, the grandmother walks in, straight in on him, sees her naked in front of Chris staring at her. And she yells at them and screams at them, saying they're unholy, they're terrible, terrible devil's issue, devil spawn, and then she leaves. That doesn't mean she's not going to come back, because she does. And this time she's holding scissors. At this point, I'm like, you're not going to stab him, are you? And she says, sit down, I'm going to cut off your hair. And I was like actually going to scream. Like, my hair is like one of my favorite things about myself. So I'm putting myself in Kathy's position. If somebody said that to me, I don't know what I would do. Like, I'd jump out the window or something. Or I'd fight. Same thing with Kathy is she has this gorgeous, or at least it's described in the book, golden blonde hair. And after saying no, she tells Chris to do it to her. And he says no. He's like, I'm not going to cut off Kathy's hair. I will never do that. And she was like, then I'm going to starve you. Either you cut off her hair, or I'm going to starve you for a week. No food. And they remember that they have like some food saved like under the bed. Like just some. So they do that. So no food for a week. That night they go to bed, and in the middle of the night, Kathy has these really weird, vivid nightmares. And when she wakes up, she's groggy. She feels like heavy, like she can't move. And she can't really speak that well. She just seems tired still. She tries to like move her head, and she cannot move her head. She can honestly move everything else like kind of okay except her head. And she calls for Chris to see what's wrong, and he gets up. He starts like screaming at her, like saying, "It's gonna be okay, but like this is terrible. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like we'll figure it out though." And she doesn't know what he's talking about. And Carrie and the twins start like freaking out. And she goes in front of the mirror only to realize the grandma had poured hot tar into her hair. She drugged her and poured tar into her hair while she was sleeping. I actually lost it when I was reading this. I was reading this in the middle of the night. And I was actually about to I was screaming into my pillow and crying. I've never felt more emotions reading a book in my whole life. So I don't even know. So bad. But Chris, he's always wanted to be a doctor when he grows up. So he makes up a lot of he's like, "I'm gonna get the tar out of your hair, it's okay." So she's in this bathtub with hot water, scalding hot water into her hair, and he's painstakingly getting this out. He's making these little chemicals to dissolve the tar and not dissolve her hair. And he just tried so long. They're in this bathtub for hours just trying to get this tar out of her hair. And while they're doing this, it's like they're having this bond happen between them. That not just Chris wants Kathy or Chris just wants some sort of girl, but Kathy also kind of wants Chris. I do not support incest. I do not. I swear. But you will not understand unless you read the book. You just have to read. I'm sorry. It'd be great, though, if they weren't brother and sister, but... well, yeah. Okay, moving on. They get the tar out of her hair, but now her hair's thinned out and glossy, spider webby, and it made me so mad. I know I'm going over the scene so much, it just made me so mad. But the mom finally... Oh, dang it, sorry, I'm skipping something, ignore that. And they cut the top of her hair. So, the grandma will come back and see that they think that they cut her hair as, a last resort. They weren't able to get the tar out, so she still gives them food. The grandma never comes back, and food never comes. So, her hair is bad now, and they cut the top, and they still don't have food. It's it's a lose-lose situation here. And they are starved for, 2-3 weeks. They don't have anything. They're, malnourished. You know what Chris does? He slits his wrist and feeds it to the twins. To give them blood. They drink the blood, and they would never drink or eat anything that looked weird or gross or something, but they drank their own brother's blood because they were starving. I'm sorry, no, stop it. I just wanted to push Corin out a window or something. I'm done with the mom. And of course the grandma too, but it's the mom's fault they're there in the first place. And they get down to the point when they're about to literally cut open these, they take the mice from their mouse traps who've been dead for ever, and cut them open and gut them and put salt and pepper on them to eat them. And right before they do this, Chris comes back up the stairs with the salt and pepper and a picnic basket of food. The grandma had finally brought them food, and probably the best time, but also the worst time. I was so thankful, but so angry at the same time. That was the worst part of the whole book to me. Well, actually, not the worst part, but really close. The mom finally comes back. she is like, I missed you so much, and guess what? I got married again. And they're like, what? You just got married. You got married and you had your honeymoon? Kathy is like, she's lost full trust in the mom at this point. Like, she's angry, she's yelling at her like, this is not right. We have to get out of here. And like, she tells Chris, like, after she leaves, like, we can't stay here any longer. We have to go. But Chris is like, we don't have enough money to get a train. We don't have like money to like, start anything, like pay for medical bills, something. Because the twins aren't growing, like, because they don't have sunlight. They're like plants, I guess. Like, the children need sunlight to grow. Like, it sounds weird, but it's true. Oh, and by the way, now they're actually being given powdered sugar donuts, like 4, which is really weird because the grandma never wanted them to eat sweets, but they like start being given these donuts too, which is really nice for the kids because like Corey and Carrie really like them, especially Corey. Like, that's one of the only things he'll eat. Just remember that, by the way. They need sunlight. So like, their heads are like massive and like their bodies are scrawny and like malnourished, and they're just so little, and they're like 8 years old now, 7, 8 years old. It's so bad. So they decide, we are going to maybe get down there so we can kind of steal money from like the servants and stuff. We need they said $500. They gained the mom's trust back by like talking to her on like, talking about, we understand, I know you're trying your best. So she eventually carelessly like tosses this key onto like the shelf. And they take a soap bar and they press the key into it to create a mold. They use that and they cut out of hardwood the shape of that. And they have a hardwood key that they can use, which is the house key. So they can go in any room in the house, which is so cool. And they're going to steal $500 is what they plan to steal. And they go through this time just taking money secretly, not that much at one time, just not to look suspicious. And yeah, and also Bartholomew Winslow was the husband. Sorry, I keep getting off track. I won't do that anymore. The twins are getting really sick. And they don't know why they're sick, but they're like really sick, especially Corey. And they don't know if it's just because they've been deprived of like the sunlight and like just everything, deprived of love. Like Chris and Kathy are basically the parents. Like they kind of don't even know who the mom is anymore. And the mom refuses to look at them too. Like, she refuses to see that they're not growing, refuses to see that like their eyes are like hollow and they just don't have any life, like to have any love left inside of them or any hope. And when Corey gets really, really sick, they literally they get the grandmother to come and get Corin so they can take Corey to the hospital. So Corin comes in there and Kathy is yelling at Corin, like, take Corey to the hospital right now. Like, she's like slapping her and like punching her. And the mom just stares into like his eyes, Corey's eyes. And then the grandma is the one who's eventually said, she's right, this kid needs a hospital. And they take him to the hospital, only for them to come back later without Corey. Apparently, the doctors did the best they could, but Corey's dead. And they're like, can we go to the funeral? Nope, we buried him already under a fake name. A fake name. That kid's never going to be seen ever again because they'll never know what gravestone he was put under. Like, this poor innocent, like 8-year-old kid who looks like he's 5 years old is under the ground, under a fake gravestone. He died to whatever illness. He said he had pneumonia. And let me just skip here very quickly because I need to cut this video short. Crispin one time goes back down to get money and he hears some servants talking about how the attic has a mice problem. And they started bringing arsenic up there and in a food basket. And he puts 2 and 2 together and realizes It's the powdered sugar donuts. That was the only thing that Corey ended up eating towards the end that he could manage. And they had put arsenic, because it's like a white powder, on those stupid powdered sugar donuts, and they'd all been secretly being poisoned. And at the same time, he realizes, while he's down there, he finds out, like, beside these two random servants, that the house is empty. Even the grandfather's room, like the hospital room that this stupid grandfather that they've been waiting to die, is not there. And he realizes over those two servants that this grandfather has been dead for over a year. And they've been waiting for this grandfather to die, because they realize that she cannot tell him about them. She just has to wait for him to die. They've been waiting for that this whole time, only for him to be there for over a year. Corey would not have died if that mom had not taken them out of that attic. Because apparently, Corin could not have children now or children then, because they are still devil issue, whatever. I said that wrong again. And if she'd ever found out that she had children with her other husband, they would also be, she'd be taken out of the will. That was part of his will that he wrote in there. And that's why she couldn't tell him, and she could never get them out of the attic, and that's why she started killing them one by one. So Corey was the first to go. And then Chris tells Kathy, we have to go. We cannot stay here any longer. We have to go now. I don't care how much money we have to go. So at that same time, they take that key and they get out of there while they can, because there's no one in the house. And actually the grandma was in the house, but they just got out. They left and they boarded a train and they made it to I don't remember where they went. Florida, I think. And there they are. That's where the story ended. I don't even know how to express how angry, how sad, how many tears this story drawn from me. I've never experienced more emotions in my life. But I don't even know. It was just... If VC Andrews, you are incredible. You are incredible. I read If There Be Thorns and Petals in the Wind. I haven't read Seeds of Yesterday because she didn't write it. I might read it. Who knows? I left out a few parts. I know you read the book for yourself, but I made the key parts of it. They did actually make flowers, like paper flowers, to put in the attic to make it more lively, by the way, because that's kind of why it's called Flowers in the Attic. And they are also the flowers in the attic. Double meaning. Just read, there's a lot more, and everything's more in detail in the book, but just please read. I'll do anything in the whole world. I rate this book a 20 out of 10 or more if I can. I've never liked a book more in my whole life, and I don't think I ever will. And I love reading, so I'll keep you posted if there's something I like more than this, but I don't think that's possible. So yeah, that's my book review on Flowers in the Attic, VC Andrews. I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm gonna watch the movie. People say it isn't as good as the book. My mom said she read the book so many times that she had to tape it together, and it eventually just broke, and she had to throw it away because she read it over and over and over and over again. And I'm definitely gonna read this book again, definitely. I recommend the other ones too. They're just not as good as the first one. And you wouldn't understand nothing if you didn't read the first one. So, yeah. That is my review, so bye guys. I need to continue reading. Bye!